barriers to success and create your dream life. I'm Lara Young, and it's a pleasure to see so many faces here and so many familiar faces, I should say. People who've been on previous webinars, and so welcome everyone. We'll get started. There is a lot of content to get through today, some activities for you to do both during the call and after the webinar as well. So let's get started with this webinar. So I'm just curious to know why you're here today, and I'm guessing it's one of potentially several reasons. Perhaps you've attended my last 3 webinars, and by way of a reminder, they were how to create a vision board to propel your dreams to reality, how to get clarity about what you want in life, that's quite key, and 10-step formula for success in life and business. And we'll actually be referring back to that 3rd webinar during the course of this session today. If you haven't seen those webinars and you'd like to, they're on the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, and I'll send you a link to that in the email following this webinar, where I'll also send you the replay link as well. You may be here because you want success and you're not sure what's stopping you. You're really passionate about being successful in business, or finding a life partner, or whatever success means for you, and yet you're finding that there are blocks that are perhaps holding you back. Maybe you've already identified that you've got some specific barriers to success and you want to find out ways to kick them to the curb once and for all. I know I've had a couple of coaching calls with people recently where they've said, you know, I know what's stopping me, I know what I'm doing, but I just don't know how to, get rid of those barriers, how to stop engaging in these habits and behaviours that are preventing me from getting the success that I desire. You may want to learn some ways to keep going, to stay the course, even when you feel like giving up. And, that's a really important and crucial thing, to be able to keep going, even when when things are tough. And so we'll talk about some of those strategies today. And in fact, you may have heard on the grapevine that there's a special bonus for you at the end of this webinar. And the good news is that that is true. So stay tuned. You really will want to have a pen and paper handy, because there are some activities, as I say, that we're going to be doing on this webinar. I will send some worksheets through via email for those of you that stay to the end, so that you can complete them in your own time. But if you want to make notes, I'd recommend having that pen and paper handy. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Lara. I'm really passionate about helping people to achieve their personal and professional potential. I've had over 20 years experience as a coach, course designer and facilitator. I worked for many years in the corporate world, specifically in change management and organisational development, designing many talent programs for emerging leaders, leadership development programs, helping boards create organisational strategy. And for 8 years, more than 8 years, I've been running my own consulting and coaching businesses. And so I've worked with people and organisations at a personal and professional level who are going through periods of change. I've also run retreats, and I continue to do that. I'm a trainer of NLP and timeline therapy and hypnosis. I train coaches as well, and I've worked across the globe, so UK, USA, Asia, Europe, and of course also in Australia. In 2006, I started my consulting business, and I also created Design Your Fabulous Future. And for me, that was part of being successful and having the balance that I wanted to have in terms of my life. I'd been working, as I say, in the corporate world. I was working for someone and with someone at the time who I wanted to have and work for as a real mentor to me. I was at the stage in my career, I was the international head of X, and for an organisation, and I joined the organisation to work with this chap, and about 3 months after I joined, he announced that he was resigning. And so for me, that was an occasion upon which I thought, well, actually, what do I want? do I want to stay, or do I want to perhaps go and do something different, to take the big leap, to get out of my comfort zone, and to run retreats and create a business, design your fabulous future, as well as then being a freelance consultant. And so I resigned from the organisation and I worked my 3 months notice period. And it was amazing that during that time, during that 3 months, I was sort of, just gathering ideas and thinking about how I would create success in these businesses. And it was really interesting because on the Friday that I left that organisation, I had some leaving drinks at a place called Canary Wharf. Those of you in London will perhaps be familiar with it. And at that drinks party, that farewell leaving do, there was someone behind me who was talking about needing to create a performance system for the O2 Arena, which was part of a large organisation, European organisation, but it's now, you may know of it, it's a large entertainment and sporting venue in the UK. And so I went through a tender process, and long story short, I was successful in winning the tender to design that program. And really it went from there. So I was working on lots of really interesting projects, and at the same time being able to run retreats and develop the Design Your Fabulous Future business, where I was engaging predominantly in, retreats, life coaching, and running various programs. I also, because I was running retreats, realised relatively quickly that in order for financial success to happen, I had to look at my expenditure, because I was running retreats in venues that I was hiring on a weekend basis. And they were beautiful venues across the UK and Spain and Portugal. And yet when I sat down and looked at it, I realised that for the same amount of money, I could rent a place and live in it full time in the countryside in the UK. And so that's what I did. And I established a retreats venue, which became a 5-star guest house, and built that up, and it's opposite Belvoir Castle in the UK. So, that was about taking action, and I used all the wonderful techniques I teach people. I manifested it. I was actually in a pub when I said I'd like to live in that house. It was only about 6 months before, and then it all kind of just happened. We also ran then creative writing courses, cookery courses, and fitness boot camps. So the venue lent itself to expanding and being used for a variety of activities. From there, I love to cook, so I started cooking on the radio, on BBC Radio Leicester, as part of their Food Friday program. And I love to eat, I love to cook, and I love to eat. So then I was invited to become a judge at the British Pie Awards, and also created a food event called Graze the Vale, which was a celebration of the produce and food from the Vale of Belvoir, which is where the guest house is. So for me, I've always been someone who's practiced what I preach. I set goals, I take action towards them. I also am a very strong visualizer. I love the law of attraction, so I employ manifestation. I employ affirmations, really making sure that my belief system and my value system is aligned with what I'm actually wanting to achieve. So, from a career perspective and from a, hobby perspective as well, because I was really doing everything that I loved all at once, so multi-passionate. Everything was fantastic. And the one thing at that time that was missing for me was that I'd always wanted to be a mother. And so I started going down the adoption process, and I became a mother of 2 daughters, 2 under 2, after being told by my social worker that I wouldn't get girls and I wouldn't get babies. So again, for me, that was another part of my success. Success for me in that area was about actually being a parent and having a family. And a lot of people, when I did become a mum of 2 under 2 in very quick succession, my first daughter came to me in the November and my second daughter came to me in the February, and she was only 12 weeks old at the time. A lot of people said to me, be careful what you wish for. And my response always has been, I am careful what I wish for. And a lot of this webinar today is about being really clear about what you want. And again, the clarity webinar is a really good starting point if you don't know what you want. And then actually looking at the steps you need to take to make it happen. So I could have listened to some of the barriers that were presented to me in terms of becoming a mum, but I didn't. And so one of the things that I'd like to share with you today is how to get over all the various types of barriers that may manifest themselves for you as you pursue what you want in life and in business. So my intention, as I say, is to share with you some techniques for removing your barriers to success. Just those pictures there, I mean, obviously the one on the left is of me, and then the two in the middle are actually photographs of the guest house. So that is one of the bedrooms at Vale House. And in the backyard is a photo of when the sheep from the farm next door decided that our grass was greener on the other side of their fence. So they're having a little nibble there. And the photos on the right-hand side are actually of my most recent move, which is to return to my homeland of Australia with my 2 young daughters and to live right by the beach. So this is effectively my backyard. Okay, so let's get started. I created the little thin Canva on the left, the little graphic. That light within you, it's yours, so let it shine. Bright, shimmering glow, you sparkle the world. And I think so often we dull ourselves down in life and in business. And letting your light shine is actually something that you really need to be prepared to do. And for some of us, it's about stepping out of that comfort zone to become visible and to be really aware and to embrace what we want before we can even start to be successful. So knowing what you want and making sure that you are actually out there shining out in the world and allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to do so. And that's quite a common barrier. Sometimes we don't give ourselves permission to acknowledge and recognize what we want, pursue it, go after it. And so I guess that's the first step, is really understanding what you want and how you will sparkle the world. The very first thing when we think about success is that it's a concept that is unique to everyone. So for different people, success means different things. So some people measure success in terms of financial success. So how much money am I making? How much money have I got for a rainy day, for retirement? So very much their success is measured by their bank balance. For other people, success is measured by the material possessions that they have around them. So the car that they have, the house that they live in, the clothes that they wear, those kind of things, the outward manifestations of success. For other people, success means emotional things. So how effective am I in relationships? Do I have a partner who I love and who loves me? How are my relationships generally in my life? Am I feeling happy? Am I feeling content? How do I feel on a day-to-day basis? So some people measure success on that platform. Other people measure success in terms of their spirituality. So how in tune am I with the world, with God, with higher being, with whatever spirituality means for them? Where am I along my path of self-development? And for others, it is about physical success. So, how fit am I? How healthy am I? Am I running marathons? Am I winning competitions, triathlons, what have you? So being physically well, fit, healthy, and engaging in physical pursuits. And naturally, you can success can mean more than one of those things. So for most of us, it's a combination. So before you go any further, just start to think about, actually, what does success mean to you? What is important to you in terms of that representation of success? Will you, for example, if you're thinking about success in business, will you know you're a success in business when you have, you're generating X revenue? Or will it be when you can have the latest gadgets and, the latest perhaps Mac or what have you? Will it be when you just get up, leap out of bed in the morning, excited and delighted that you're working with clients that that you adore, and you're really getting lots of fulfillment out of it? So, it could be anyone or a combination of any of those things. So just ask yourself those questions, because unless we know what success means for us, it's pretty hard to pursue it. It's pretty hard to, unless we've defined it for ourselves, it's pretty hard to achieve it. It's like anything in life, which brings me to my next point. Have you set your goals? Now, I think, I do believe fully in setting goals, having a purpose, and defining them as being one of the most important, if not the most important things in achieving what we want in life. If we don't know where we're going, any road will take us there. Lewis Carroll from Alice in Wonderland. And it's really interesting, as I said in my last webinar, the number of people who skip this very important step thinking, oh, well, it's all right, I know them in my head, or I don't need to set goals. They're for other people. They're not for me. They're really missing one of the key ingredients in forming success in whichever area of life it is that you're focusing on. And there's the acronym SMART, which is about setting goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. And so please, if you haven't already done so, take some time just to set your goals for each area of your life. Be really specific. Make sure that they're measurable, that they're achievable, realistic, and that there's a time frame on them as well. And all of those things are important. And I'm going to be going through goal setting in quite a bit of detail in my next webinar, the Action Takers Blueprint. So why do we create barriers to success? We really want to be successful in life, whatever that means for us. And, sometimes it's a combination of our conscious thoughts and processes and our unconscious thoughts, programs. So sometimes we may think to ourselves, I really want to lose weight, for example, or I really want to be a size 10 by Christmas. Or I really want to weigh X by Christmas. And consciously, we can put that down as a goal, but unconsciously, there might be something inside us that prevents us from taking the steps necessary to actually do it. And often, they're unconscious beliefs or barriers that hold us back. So it may be, for example, on the conscious level, we're saying we'd really like to look great in a size 10 or a 12 dress, that we'd really like to be slim because we want to attract a partner, or we want to be fitter and healthier. But the other side of us may be saying, well, actually, I don't really want to attract attention. There may be something underneath that is preventing us at the unconscious level from really achieving success. And as a trainer of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, I really love working with people to uncover exactly what it is that is holding them back. And that happens most effectively during coaching sessions, to really tap into. But you can ask yourself the question and just, think on it. What are the consequences of me achieving this success? What are the things that I worry about? What's the other side? What are the cons of me achieving this goal? And it may be that, there are some beliefs and values there. So if I do this, something better might come along and I might miss something else. Or if I have success in this area, I won't have time to enjoy my life. Or what if I fail? Or another one could be, well, no one in my family has ever done X. And so it's really important to examine what's going on behind the scenes for you in terms of when you set a goal, what do you truly believe about it? You know, what do you truly believe about its possibility of coming into being? And we're going to do an activity on this a little bit later on. So for now, I'm just going to run you through a quick checklist. So please make sure you've got your pen and paper handy, and we're just going to uncover whether or not you have some of the most common barriers to success. So, and for those of you that were on the last webinar, the 10-step formula for success, you will be quite familiar with these. So let's just grab a pen and paper and we'll go through. I'll ask the questions and just be honest with yourself, because there's no one else there with you. And I can't see what you're writing down. So just make a note of the things that really resonate with you. Okay, so are you setting and pursuing focused goals? Okay, so if you're not doing this, if you haven't got goals at the moment, this could be a key barrier to your success. Just spoke about setting goals and the importance of it, to have real clarity about what you want. Clarity is important in terms of knowing what actions we need to take, of knowing how to visualize, you know, even getting the visual picture and the sensations, that sensory experience of having what we want. It's really important to know those things and to be really clear. So if you haven't got goals, I want you to write an action item for yourself. It could be a key barrier to your success that you need to spend time writing down your goals. The next one was taking immediate and decisive action. So are you someone who writes down a goal and then goes and makes a cup of tea and walks away and thinks, well, it's just magically going to happen? If you're someone who likes to procrastinate, to put things off, I'll do it tomorrow, or the weather's not quite right, or, oh, there's a fluffy dog running by, then really you need to address the issue of procrastination. And part of that is making sure that you do something each day towards each one of your goals. And again, I'll share with you a brief action planner a little later. And if you are a procrastinator, please do make sure that you're on that webinar next week, which is the Action Takers Blueprint. Now, the next key to success is focusing on being productive, not busy. So if you find yourself engaging in other busy work, so it's another form of procrastination really, that you're doing things that aren't driving you towards an outcome, then write this one down, okay? Because you're going to need some of the strategies to become more productive. You're going to need to make sure that you are effectively planning out your day and planning out your time, so that if you want to find a new partner, you actually put a time and date in your diary that you're going to perhaps write a dating profile, you know, join a dating site, so that you are actually having an outcome at the end of that activity. The next one is avoid the perfection trap. A lot of people that I coach have this issue. It's quite a common one. So it's not quite ready, it's not quite perfect. Now, one of the key affirmations for this is progress, not perfection, okay? So if you're a perfectionist, then this can be a real barrier to your success, because it means that ultimately very little gets done, or very little gets done and progressed, moved forward, because there's always something to tweak. There's always a better way to do it. Okay, so if this is you, just pop that down for yourself to pay attention to. So the next one is, in terms of being successful, is that you do need to get out of your comfort zone. And unless you're doing this regularly and expanding yourself, expanding your ability to learn and develop and grow and do new things, and that's something we do in the 52 Adventures to Change Your Life program, started in January, but there's another, we're starting another version of it again in June, then you're always going to be playing it safe. And if you play it safe, nothing will change. So if you getting out of your comfort zone is about taking risks and trying new things. And so if you find that you are playing it safe, you're doing the same things and the same routines and getting the same results, then perhaps this is something that you need to look at as well, is getting out of your comfort zone and being prepared to do that. Right. Another step to success is to keep things simple. If you're someone who likes to overcomplicate, who likes to over-research, I don't quite know enough information about it yet, I call it the just one more thing syndrome, where you have a high need to know and a high need to overcomplicate things when a simple solution will do. It's almost like you have a need to reinvent the wheel, even though the wheel's already in existence. Then this is something that you need to look at and address, okay? So because it could be holding you back from progress and from moving forward. So another key to success was measuring and tracking performance. Now, if you're someone who's ignoring feedback that you're getting and persisting even in the face of that, then this could be holding you back from success as well. It could be a barrier to you achieving what you want to achieve. And it's really important that we do pay attention to the information that we're getting, whether that's in terms of our business, so feedback on courses we're running or financial information, or whether that's just generally in life, the feedback that we receive. Perhaps we get feedback in our relationships. Maybe you're having a lot of arguments with your partner, or you may be having some miscommunication with a family member, or maybe you're going on first dates and not getting a second date. Really important that you're actually paying attention and trying to work out what this means and make some changes so that you can achieve what you want to achieve. The next thing is that even if something is going wonderfully, we still need to make small continuous improvements. So we pay attention to the feedback we're getting, we use our sensory acuity, and we make small continuous improvements along the way. Now, if you're someone who's likely to say to me, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, then perhaps this is a barrier to your success as well. You are still, you're using tried and trusted methods, and that's fantastic. But as long as you're doing that and other people around you are progressing, we see it all the time in things like social media. There's a new platform, a new program. Unless we actually go with it, then and make continuous improvements and changes, then we will stagnate, and success, it can be a real barrier to your success. The next one is thinking positive thoughts and spending time with positive people. So if you have negative thought patterns, and this is about watching yourself, it's about really watching your own language, the way you speak to yourself, the way you think about things. I had a coaching call with a client yesterday, and she was using the word should a lot. And, should is a word that is actually can be quite debilitating, and it can hold you back quite a bit, because it's saying that you have to do something, you should do something, but actually, do you want to? Are you going to move forward? I should have done this. You're beating yourself up a bit about it. Perhaps you're feeling guilty about something. We all have that voice, that inner critic that's there, and we can use them for good. So most of us might use them for not so good. So the inner critic might say, oh, what did you do that for? Or, oh, I can't believe you've done that. Or if you're looking in the mirror, they might make disparaging remarks about your appearance. So the thing is that with that inner critic, that inner voice, they can be a cheerleader as well. So they can be there saying, you're fabulous, you're amazing, let's go, come on, we can do it. And it's really important that you do pay attention to how positive or negative your thought patterns are, and whether or not they're actually supporting you in terms of your success, or whether they're not. And we're going to look at a little bit of this in more detail shortly. The other thing is, if you are finding that you're spending time with negative people who drain your energy, drain your emotions, who you're having to buoy up all the time, then perhaps it's time to revisit and review that as well. So, are they really supportive of you? Are they a positive impact on you in terms of moving forward to your success? Or are they people that, perhaps sadly, you need to let go in terms of having them in your life, or you need to look at different strategies for interacting with them so that, you remain upbeat, that you remain positive and forward focused towards what you want to achieve. Now, the next thing is about, in terms of success and the success formula, is that you need to maintain balance in your life. Now, maybe you're either one or the other end of this spectrum. So maybe you might find that you're a workaholic. So on the face of it, yeah, what's wrong with being a workaholic? I'm going to be successful. I'm, working 7 days a week. I'm working all the hours that God sends. Well, actually, that's not necessarily a great thing, because you're not balanced. And, you won't be attracting the right people to you in business. You won't be attracting the right people to you in love and relationships either. And you may find that you're neglecting other aspects of your life. The other thing is, you could be someone who's so relaxed about everything, you're almost horizontal the whole time. And so it's about finding the right balance. If you're really chilled about something, there's perhaps an expectation that things will just come to you and happen. But there is a point where you do need to take action, that you do need to actually, participate in the achievement of your goals and in the fulfillment of your desires for success, whatever that may mean for you. Okay, so hopefully now you've got a list of things that you've recognized there that you do. And so you've already on the track really to thinking about some changes that you can make, some things that you can start doing differently to remove those blocks and to move forward towards the successful life and business that you deserve. Let's just look now at a few more common barriers to success. So very much I hear that people don't have enough time, they don't have enough money, or they don't have enough information or training to be successful. And the reality is that time exactly is a very finite thing. We only have so many hours and minutes in each day and each week and each month and each year. And so there are strategies that you can employ. If you constantly say to yourself, I haven't got enough time, or I haven't got time now, then pay attention to that. Because what you're really saying to yourself is, I haven't got a system in place. I haven't got a strategy in place for using my time effectively and productively. Now, this, in a sense, is similar to goal setting, because, a lot of people know the importance of goal setting, but a lot of people don't do it. People know the importance of managing time effectively. And, when I was working in the corporate world, a number of people in my early days when I was working in the learning and development function, the number of people that came to me and said, I need a time management course, was astounding. And it's actually not about managing time, it's actually about managing you and finding the strategies that work for you so that you create time, productive time for you to be in flow, to get into the zone and to deliver whatever it is that you want to deliver. And there are lots of different systems for that. And one that I recommend is that you, whatever your goal is, whatever it is that you do, whether it's running a business or running a family or, managing a hectic social life, is to actually use Post-it notes and to divide your days up into blocks of time. And it could be, for example, that you have a series of half-an-hour blocks where you say, right, in this half an hour I'm going to do emails, in this half an hour I'm going to return phone calls, and then you have bigger chunks of time. So, for example, in this 2 hours I am going to be writing a module for my upcoming program, Build Your Backbone Sister, or in this hour I'm going to be recording some video, some vlogs, some video blogs. It may be that you say, in this 15-minute time period, I'm going to just do some filing. But actually, if you divide things up and then you can swap them around so that, if you're feeling great, you want to tackle something, you're in the zone, you want to tackle something that will take a bit longer time, then do that then. If you want to do something that is you've got 15 minutes free, then look at your 15-minute tasks and just do those. And actually focusing on one thing at a time really promotes that sort of, and it's a different energy. It's an energetic expression of being productive. You know, you can get in the zone so much more easily. A lot of people talk about not having enough money to do things. Now, we live in this amazing information age where you can Google just about anything. You can find out the next one, information and training that you need at a relatively inexpensive, if any, cost. And if money is a preventative, if money prevents you, then you really need to look at, you know, where you're spending your money, what value you're getting from it, and just really focus on actually what's the outcome that I want from this. Are there other alternatives? Are there other ways for me to get it? And, you know, money is a common excuse when people actually don't want to do something necessarily. So, and the other one was information and training. So I need more information. And again, this is a perfectionist trap in some ways, because I can't start until I know absolutely everything about this subject. And again, it's a block to success because it's saying, you know, there will never necessarily be a great starting point. There is lots of training out there and lots of information, obviously, but you need to get to a point where you think that's enough progress, not perfection. Another barrier for some people is, what will people think or say or do if I'm successful or if I pursue my dreams? This is quite a, you know, this is again a very common one. What will my family think if I quit my job and travel around Italy for 12 months? Or what will other people say if I decide to start my own business, or whatever it might be? And the reality is that, and I guess in a way it's a slightly sad reality, but it's the truth, that generally we don't think about other people as much as we think about, you know, ourselves. And sorry, that doesn't come out right. Other people aren't thinking about us nearly as much as we think they are. Sure, we think about other people, but typically that's in a kind way. It's in a nice way. So we think about our family or our partner or our children. You know, what can I do that will really make them happy or surprise them? Or, you know, how will, you know, wouldn't they love this? Or what will I cook for them for dinner? And that's a great thing. That's really positive. A lot of us, though, worry and get hung up on other people thinking negatively about us or judging us, where in reality, if you think about how much you judge other people, it's probably on par with how much other people are potentially judging you. And if you're non-judgmental, then that's pretty much not that much at all. So I guess the thing is that if you can get over that people actually don't think negative thoughts about us nearly as much as we think they might do, then that can really be quite freeing and move you forward. I mean, most of the time, if you think about it, your family, your friends, your loved one, they only want the best for you. And they want what you want for yourself. You know, they want you to be happy. They want you to be successful. The other thing is what we call ecological factors. So how will this impact my family? How will this impact my family if I decide I want to go to Italy for 12 months, or if I want to quit my job, or whatever it might be? And there are important things to consider. There are always solutions and there are always ways around those. I think sometimes we feel that we have to do something straight away, but perhaps, you know, it's about thinking, well, I'd like to go to Italy for 12 months. My children are young at the moment. I will wait until X date, you know, they've finished high school or whatever it might be, in order to go. So there's always ways to meet those ecological considerations. And the most common barrier, I think, is about you and what you believe is possible, what you say to yourself, and how your beliefs and affirmations, so what we say to ourselves on a regular basis is an affirmation, whether it's positive or negative, how they actually prevent us or help us to move forward. And again, we'll have a look at an activity around beliefs a little bit later. Okay, so you may have recognised some of those things in yourself that prevent you from being as successful as you would like to be. So let's just move forward now. I'm conscious a little bit of time, and I'm just going to get you to grab a pen and paper, and I'd just like to ask you a few questions. And it's going to be sort of a little mini coaching session where you won't actually respond back to me, but they're just questions that I'd like you to think about, and you can jot them down. I will send them through for those of you who are on to the end of the call. I'll send them through to you in an email afterwards. So grab your pen and paper and get comfortable, and just think about one of the goals that you have, and just write it down. So what do you want? That's question number one. What do you want? And it's really about, I guess, thinking about it in terms of that SMART formula as well. So be really specific, put some measurement on it, a time, make sure it's achievable. So say, for example, it's I want to be a size 12 by Christmas. So you've got all the elements in there. You've got your measure, you've got your date, your time frame. So the next question is, you've defined what you want. How will you know when you have it? What will you see, hear, and feel when you've achieved this outcome? So very much this is about your evidence procedure. So perhaps if we go to that example of being a size 12 by Christmas, it's about, feeling, you'll see a certain weight on the scales, you'll feel the zipper of your size 12 dress go up, and you'll just feel really comfortable in it, and you might even feel a glass of champagne in your hand. You might hear people saying, "Oh wow, you look amazing, you're really glowing, what have you done? How fabulous do you look?" And how will you feel? Amazing, sexy, confident. So just write down all the evidence procedure of how you'll know when you've achieved that goal. The next one is, where are you now in relation to it? So if you're a size 14 and you want to be a size 12, I guess that's where you are now. Your goal may be, your what you want, your goal may be slightly different. So you'll have something else. So for example, if you want to study a postgraduate course in secondary teaching, where you are now in relation to this is that you have an undergraduate degree in arts, majoring in history and English, and so you've got the basis, the foundation for an application for that. The next question is, what have you tried so far to achieve it? So you want this goal, what have you done so far to achieve it? So it may be, for example, in the dress, the size 12 goal, that you have joined a slimming club, that you have cleared all the junk food out of your cupboards, that you have created meal plans for yourself. So what have you done so far to achieve it? What are all the steps that you've already taken? And the next one is, which is going to really hopefully get us to the heart of the matter for you in terms of the barrier to your success, is what prevents you from having it already? If you really want this goal, and this is a killer question, why don't you have it already? What prevents you? And so this is something to take a little bit of time over. And what I would encourage you to do is to go through, and for all those areas that you're stuck or blocked or things aren't happening, is to complete this process and ask yourself the question, what prevents you from having it already? And that will really help you to hone in on, to narrow down, and to get really specific about what your barriers to success are. Now, this isn't obviously a complete coaching session. This is just a discovery session, okay? What have you done so far? Sometimes people say, well, I've done nothing to achieve it, and then be surprised why they don't have it. So please take the time where you are in relation to your goals and what prevents you from having it already, because that will really help you to identify your barriers to success even more specifically than we have done already. Maybe you'll find some common themes arising. That happens for a lot of people. Okay, let's look at some strategies. So, some strategies for removing barriers to success. We've already talked about some of them directly in relation to the 10-step success formula. So, there are some simple ones. Basically, if you're not setting goals, set goals. So whatever's the opposite of the action that you're taking or not taking, then you need to do that. But there are some clear strategies that we can employ. So the first one is that sometimes we become so wedded to the outcome of the goal that we don't really look at all the opportunities and all the possibilities. And we can be very dependent and very attached to an outcome if we're really perfectionist. It has to be exactly like this, otherwise it's not good enough or it's not right. So a great affirmation for this is, and it's used in law of attraction practice, is this or something better is coming my way. And this is about letting go of the outcome. Okay, you've set your intention, you've set your goal, and you say to yourself, this or something better is coming my way. And be open to all possibilities. So, for example, in the size 12 dress analogy, it may be that you get to a size 10 or a size 11 or a size 13, but you're more fit and toned because you've been running, and so you feel a lot healthier. So that's number one, detach from the outcome. This or something better is coming my way. The next is to be a fly on the wall, okay? And this is where you actually take a position outside of yourself, look down on what's going on for you, and ask yourself, what's really behind this? What's really going on? So if I'm preventing myself from not taking action, ask yourself the question, why? What's going on in this situation? And then say, what would you advise someone in your position to do to remove this barrier? So if you were coaching yourself or someone else who's experiencing the same situation, what advice would you give them to remove this barrier? And this is a brilliant technique because often you'll be surprised at the answers that arise. This, coupled with the activity around what's preventing you, and doing an analysis of the situation and then saying, okay, what would you do? And then that becomes, of course, what will you do? And then you need to take action, which is number 3. So please persist, take action. Sometimes it's much easier to give up. And the number of women I see who I coach and work with on retreats and courses who give up just before the going gets good, or they have before, they've given up before when the going has gotten good, is amazing. And sometimes it's about refocusing, it's about doing something different. Whatever it is, you need to take some kind of action. And sometimes that action is just, speaking to yourself differently, identifying beliefs that will really support and nurture you. And that's number 4, which is examine and change your self-talk and your beliefs about this goal. So if you believe something's impossible, then 100% you're unlikely to actually do it or achieve it. In fact, your chances of success are quite dependent on how you talk to yourself. So if you won't do something, you're not going to get it, okay? And as you read through this list, there's a different energy. There's an energy shift as we go through. So I won't do something, I don't know how. I want to, I might, I can, and I did it. So if you can work out on that scale even where you are in relation to your goals, then you can also help inform yourself about what sort of things you could do to move yourself up that scale to where you've actually achieved it, okay? So, for example, I don't know how, which is the 20% statement, might be about learning how, finding a role model, finding someone who's done it before, researching, undertaking a training course. So just go through and think about where you are on that scale and what you need to be saying to yourself, what feels better in terms of actually achieving success in relation to that. So this is an excerpt from the Your Life, Your Way program, and it's something that I use in coaching as well, which is, what are your beliefs and affirmations? And it's an activity that I'd really like you to do, because it will help you get your head and your beliefs and your self-talk aligned with what you want. So in the left-hand column, you write down, what's your SMART goal? So what do you want? In the next column, you write down what you currently believe or say to yourself about it. The next column is what I need to believe or say to myself in order to achieve it. So see the difference there. So and this is again about being honest. So if you don't believe it's possible, write it down in the second column, and then write down what you do actually need to believe in order to achieve it. And then from those statements, you're going to create some affirmations. And in the courses and coaching, I'll go through and share some really powerful affirmations with you. But you can create your own affirmations that will really support you towards achieving these goals. So I recommend that you do that activity. And the next one is obviously taking action. And again, this is from one of my programs and from my coaching, that, you know, you have an intention to do something, you commit to doing it, and you do so with enthusiasm. And you'll notice that this is divided into different life areas, and their lifestyle, love, work, money, well-being, and self-development. And one of the things that is a key, is one of the 10 steps to success, of course, is taking decisive and immediate action. And so this is absolutely key. Writing down in your action planner what you're going to do each week, each month, and in a slightly longer time frame. So where will you be? What will you have done? What action are you going to take? And you might like to do it as a daily planner, so that every day you're doing something towards it. But what will you have completed in a week from now, in a week from this webinar, in relation to all of those areas of your life? Very important that you do that. Action is absolutely key to achieving success. And I always say, take it till you'll make it. So take action until you make it, until you're successful. I will be sending these through in an email to you as well, so that you've got the worksheet that you can work from. And obviously, if you have any questions or anything, please do contact me. So if you're finding that you are wanting more, that you need support, and you want to engage in some one-on-one coaching, I have a special on, which is the Stay the Course Power Call coaching package. And it's 997 Australian dollars. And basically what happens is we spend 4 lots of 90 minutes together, one-on-one. And during that time, we really look at what's preventing you, what are your barriers to success. We define some tangible strategies that are specific to you and your situation that you can take, and that will really move you forward in terms of achieving what you want to achieve in life and business. It's supported, so it goes for 8 weeks, and it's supported by homework, activities, tasks, similar to the things that we've done here, but in a lot more depth and detail. I will be reviewing your homework in inverted commas, and I'll be your accountability partner, so that I will help you to move from where you are now to where you really want to be. I'll be there by your side, cheering you on every step of the way, and be really helping you to make sure that you know that you're not giving up, that you're not settling for silver when gold is within your reach. And because I work so intensively with you and with the people on the program, there are only 5 spots available for it. So I will just share with you, I've got a little link that you can click on if you're interested in Stay the Course. And so basically, if you click on the interested link, then I can go through and get back. I'll get back in touch with you. So just make sure you pop your name and your email in there. As I say, it is a special offer at $997 for that one-on-one program. We get really in depth about, you know, what's holding you back and really work on removing the barriers to success that are specific to you. So I'll also include a link to this in the email I'm sending you as well, but the sign up will be up there on your screen now. The next one to be aware of as well is the Build Your Backbone Sister program. Build Your Backbone Sister is something that is absolutely 100% dear to my heart. It is a program that's all about helping you to, again, stay the course, keep going when the going gets tough. It's based on the 4 pillars of resilience, and it's based on a live program that I have run to over 2,000 people. It really gets in deep about what's holding you back, helps you to build strength, conviction, get real clarity about what you want, and just gives you the moxie to go for it. So it starts in May, on the 25th of May. The hyperlink to the program is up there on your screen now. It's designyourfabulousfuture.com, then Backbone Sister at the end. Now, as a special offer on this webinar, you can be notified when enrolment opens. Please note, enrolments, you can't enroll in this program yet, but when the cart does open, it'll be for the special launch price of $497. And the regular price is going to be $997, and that special price will only apply to people who are on webinars like this. This is the first time I'm actually announcing it, so, and there will be limited places available at that price. So if you are interested in that one, let me just pop that one on. Just take that one off. There we go. So, and all you're doing here is registering for the pre-enrollment. So it's just so that I've got your name and email address as being someone who's interested in Build Your Backbone, and you'll know straight away when enrollment's open. This is what the page looks like. It's at the bottom of the sales page. You can also just go on there and click there. It says, let me know when enrollment's open, and just sign up for that list. So I've got some free things coming up as well. I have got I'm just going to click back into the presentation. So if you haven't already joined the Life Design Mastermind, it's a fabulous free resource. You get links to webinars like this. You get worksheets, workbooks, downloadable mini ebooks, notifications of all kinds of different offers, and plus you get a great group of people discussing issues that people face when designing their fabulous future. The next thing is I've got another webinar happening next week, this time next week. It's called the Action Takers Blueprint. So if you are someone who's been procrastinating, please do attend that webinar. It's all about the steps you need to take action, create success, and to move from, inactivity to actually achieving what you want in life. And the date for that one's the 27th or the 28th of April, depending on your time zone. Okay, so that just about wraps us up for today. I will, as I say, be emailing through some worksheets for you to complete. You can see who's stayed on to the end, and so you'll receive those. If you have any questions, please do get in touch with me. You can reach me through Life Design Mastermind, lara@designyourfabulousfuture.com, and you'll be able to get in touch and ask any questions that you have there. So I'm just going to pop you into the Design Your Fabulous Future Backbone page there, so you've got that. And I really do look forward to seeing you on future webinars. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've been Lara Young from Design Your Fabulous Future. Have a great day. Bye.